Hey, how you doing? What video blog is this?
It's video blog number 7.
This is our massive research library, the things that are critical to the research process. For example, nothing on here useful at all. There it is, here it is, here it is. Stream ciphers using LFSRs. Got it! Yes! Every once in a while, I find myself in a blog making mood. And I wandered over to talk to Nate, who is one of the most incredible artists that I've had the pleasure to work with. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Right now, working on siege weapons for the Empire. And so it's going to be a lot of sort of armor and technology and that kind of a thing.
The Zeppelin.
Yeah. Okay.
The Zeppelin looks awesome. You did a great treatment on that.
And so, but if you hide the sails and you press a little play button, then you get to see Zim's really cool animations.
I am an animator.
He scoffs, but they're awesome. And
he scoffs.
And then it comes out, and now it's an airship. It can fly.
Nice.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Peace out, blog.
Yeah, peace out, blog. Here we go, making video blog. Woo! Michael, you're working on Kings and Castles. I see you've got a 360 dev kit.
Yep.
Does that mean we're going to be on the 360?
We'll see.
I hope so, since we said that in our press release.
Right now I'm working on melee combat. Getting that working. Yeah.
Melee combat. It seems like melee combat's a theme. Everyone we talk to is working on melee. Hell, I'm going to start working on melee combat at this rate.
It's a big task.
It's a big deal. Melee combat is a big deal.
The game in general is pretty complex. So when you have units that are guarding other units, escorting units, and you have all these other factors that factor into the melee combat.
When you go to the grocery store and you're shopping and buying bread and milk and eggs, do you practice melee combat there?
No.
Huh. Thanks, man. All right. Cool. All right. We'll bug you later. We are the great destroyers of productivity. Yeah. Okay, so you know what we could do is I could just be in my chair and I could just turn around as you come in the door with the camera and I could say,
Video blog number 8.
let's go check out the dragon. Paul, there's a rumor going around Gas-Powered Games that you're an animator.
I've heard that rumor too. It's completely false. I'm working with the gray box that was given to me by Dudley. Here we have the dragon really going to town on some opponents just before he's going to devour them.
He is slaughtering people.
That's pretty funny. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Doing great. This doesn't look like much right now, but this is the sort of the first step to getting the dragon in the game. And basically, you can look at this as a sort of skeleton. So the skeleton of the dragon is built in ZBrush, and are able to basically, it's really easy to edit it. Instead of having to deal with like polygons and points, which is what the game's going to use, we can use these. They look like tubes, but we can deal with early volumes really quickly. See,
that is awesome.
X-ray view. You can see how it's built up. All of this muscle mass is built up over that first foundation of the skeleton.
So that's terrific. Thanks, man.
Yeah, you bet.
All right.
Fun. It's fun to do.
All right.
Thanks.
Right, no ass bump.
No, yeah, that's important.
Okay, so the question is today, what is the difference between this banana and this miniature slinky in some cellophane wrap?
I was going to join in, but you were doing such a beautiful job.
You don't like my singing?
You want a donut? Don't eat donuts.
Okay. I like that. To talk about me.
Dragon, part 2. Do you have some hot dragon action for me?
Yeah, we've got some dragon going on here.
I'm showing the high poly model that I am generating the normal map for the dragon. A normal map is a texture that you apply to a low poly mesh. Yeah, so there's this, but then the wireframe is actually just that, while the wireframe of the high poly version is much, much more.
Very complicated. That's the way we like it. All right, so here we are talking again to Paul, who's now got the dragon in the game and without a texture. Here.
Well, basically, I've taken the work that Duds has painstakingly put into this dragon model, and I've roughly painted it to the rig that I built for it, and then exported it into game so we can see it with its base anim set.
Anytime whatever we're saying makes no sense at all, it ends up on the living room floor.
I know.
I'm here with Aaron Lundquist, our visual effects artist, and he's going to take us for a look inside the process of creating visual effects.
What we really want to do is help bring the world to life, and so you can see these waterfalls here, and we're just adding some effects to the waterfalls just to give them a little more life. Okay. Well, one of the things here in Kings and Castles we really want to get correct is the scale of the world. You can see the world's really huge. These are your human-sized soldiers, and you can see they're running across the landscape here. We have these huge trees. We have waterfalls in the background. It's going to be epic.
Right, and what's really going to be cool is when they come into contact with something like the dragon that we've been seeing. The dragon is really big. The dragon isn't this tiny little thing that's like twice the size of the guys. Maybe they should be called should nuts. Are you ready for dragon? I'm just getting myself into the mood here. So let's go see what Nate finished up this last week on the dragon.
So here we have the finished dragon model with all the textures on it, diffuse and normal map.
So we can see here, if we just look here on his shoulder, all that detail there only has a few polygons, which is great. And this is why the normal mapping technology is just so incredible in today's games.
You know, folks at home are actually curious what a normal map looks like. It's all purple. Looks like that. So this is red, green, and blue, sort of like alpha masks of like how it affects from the different angles.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Sure thing.
Excellent. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, what does the dragon look like when it's in the game? Let's go over and talk to Paul.
So what we want to point out here on movement, he's got a little bit of a creep there. And what we're hoping for is that he can maybe be set off a little bit of a fight here with these footmen. Blow a little fire.
That's great. So he's just he's got his fire in there, and this is like, you know, maybe first or second pass fire from the special effects team. So they'll continue to fine tune it as they see the dragon working in the game.
Absolutely.
So do you have a scripting file? Do you know what? Can you show us what that looks like?
Certainly. This is the dragon's unit file. He's got AI. He's got points to anim sets and an anim tree, so he knows what animations to do when. He's got audio that throws in there.
You're not a dragon? Down deep?
Maybe down deep.
Like lawyers. So I'm here with Julie Brockett, our gray box master. Julie, take us through a gray box process here.
Okay, so this is the concept from the art team. This is actually Steve Snowy's concept. It's a library for the Ancients. So just to get it in game so we can see how it feels and if it works, we've got just sort of a rough draft here over in Max. And from here, after we get this really rough version of it, then we can put it in game with some textures and see, like, this way we can test if we can get this floating glowing rune working here on the bottom and that kind of stuff.
All right, thanks a lot.
Cool, thank you.
Contain it! Contain it! You are very eccentric. How's your pet monkey?
Pet monkey. Locked up in a cage.
You got questions? We got answers. Video blog number 11. Well, yeah, what do I want to... Well, this is actually pretty cool. Diving straight in, let's talk to Eric Williamson about the tech tree. And this is the tree for the Empire. So there's actually 3 trees.
There is.
Because we have 3 factions.
Correct.
And this is the Empire tree.
Correct.
And this is what you do. You are the master guru of tree. Many people in the city haven't seen a tree.
This is a tree that outlines kind of the high level of our faction. Says this is the structures that our faction has, this is the units that our faction has, and this is some of the research and upgrades that our faction has. Most research trees, it's very similar. Basically, it just gives you an upgrade path that you have to follow if you want to get to a specific research or a specific unit that you want to unlock.
Right, and what were some of the other things you talked about? The units, those are like the footmen or the dragon, frankly.
Right. We have our basic units that are footmen, artillery units like perhaps a ballista or a musketeer, and then we also have the concept of our legendary units. Like the dragon, there are big, epic feeling, heavy units that come in and destroy a bunch of stuff.
That's great. Well, thank you very much.
Awesome, thanks, Chris.
And have a nice day. This couch is hell on video compression. All right, so I'm here with Vlad, and he is one of our new concept artists who's been working on some terrain, and this is amazing stuff. This is incredible stuff.
Yeah, that's what we're aiming for here, is to get the personality to the environment along with the feel of it. So when you go into it, you kind of feel like everything just ties in together. Currently I'm working on the desert, and these are just sample sketches. And
it's great, and you got the reference in there of the height of the human.
For the
That's
scale,
terrific.
yeah. He looks confused, but I'm using him over and over again, so.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
You're going to go on the internet now, and you're going to be famous. Who wants eggs? No, well, you know we're working on the video blog here. How's your pet monkey?
To my mouth.
Across the room, I saw you had a terrain concept up, and I said, I want to get that terrain concept in the video blog. This is you just playing with some visuals in Photoshop?
Just trying some different ideas that I want to play with, and it's all incorporated in this scene. Basically, I started out, just drawing a lot of thumbnails of the different buildings and stuff like that. And but they are, just individual buildings, and I want to see how they, work in a group.
That's why you are Kevin Punn, the Punisher. That's the great thing about video editing.
Video blog number 12.
This is my emergency kit of things. Look at these socks. I haven't worn this brand of socks in 5 years. And what I've got here is, look at this. I've got shaving cream. You watch, someone will figure it out.
Once
I finished shaving. Who cares about the shaving? We're back here with Julie, our gray box master. Because folks who saw video blog number 10 said, we still didn't understand what gray boxing is. Okay, now imagine, we used to just create a placeholder thing called programmer art. And then we replaced it with the final art.
We just sort of get really quick box version, essentially, in the game to test the function, test the design, and go from there.
Interesting, we call it gray box, but it's not really a box.
That's true.
I could see a time when someone said, let's just put a box in the game where that house would be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be good enough. Use your imagination.
Yeah.
You know, I understand now, talking about it, why people have asked us to explain it more. She got some new gray boxes up.
Yep.
What are we looking at?
This is the Ancient's Castle. Is just an idea that Matt Dudley came up with, where it's like a corpse coming up out of the ground.
It would be easy for someone to look at this and think this is the art, because it is sophisticated. You've got a lot of detail here, even though it is it's just gray polygons. But you know, this is the thing, right? We're not looking at the aesthetic. We're looking at we're sort of squinting our eyes and feeling it more emotionally in our gut. Like, do we like the way this is evolving?
Having the detail in, even at an early stage, actually does help.
Someone asked, why do you have this empty bottle of champagne on your desk?
It's 4 o'clock. This is actually from finishing Supreme Commander 2. So this is what we have for trophies at GPG.
The more bottles, the better. All right, thank you very much. Don't contain it. Shaving cream, be nice and clean. Hey, people are curious about how you made this fire.
How I made fire was I made a texture using Photoshop of fire. And then what we do is we have a custom effects editor that we've built in-house. And basically we import that texture into here. We add a ramp to give it its color values. And then what we can do is we can change things such as scale, size, movement, distortion to it. So we have this ground aligned stuff. We had different lights. We had some displacement over the top. Everything combined together creates this overall effect. Took about a day.
About a day of time to get that fire.
Correct.
That's great. That's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We'll see you again.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Mind blown.
Oh! Ow! We make video games! Let's go for a burger. So we're gonna go to the park and we're gonna go and play on the swings. So here we are with Paul Flores. How you doing today?
Good, how are you, Chris?
Good. I noticed this on your desk, and did you use like a number 7 lead?
I think it's a number 2. This is basically very first draft of what potentially might be the KNC UI.
So cool. So you've got a kind of a rough draft here of the UI, and then you're going to go bring it to life. You're going to go into the scripting system, and you're going to actually hook it all up. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. Why did I sound like a friggin' like a host of a talk show? So I'm here with Brian Fricks, and Brian, tell us a little bit about what you do in your role on the project.
I'm the campaign lead. And my responsibilities include the mission design and planning, as well as the map design and planning. And I work with the artists and the other mission designers to create the content that is the bulk of our game.
Notice the overland map. This is very, very cool. So this is an actual HTML document?
Yeah, we use it on the design side to allow, as we concept art, a way to interactively select and view the art that goes to different locations of the map. So I can select the first location of the map, and I can open up and see different images that the artists are working on.
Well, we'll come back and see more of this in the days and weeks ahead as we do each blog, and check in and see how the overland map and all the content is starting to flesh itself out.
Sounds great. Look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Hey, I'm here with Gordon Duclos. Is that French?
Yes.
Oh, so I understand why I don't pronounce the S. I'm here with Gordon Duclos, gameplay systems engineer, a man who refuses to watch my video blog, your video blog. Take us on a journey deep inside your dark and twisted mind.
Well, currently I'm working on a visual representation of the new bridge system that we're putting in Kings and Castles. It's actually been sort of a challenging endeavor since our game is based on a 2D height field. The wizard has the ability to summon a bridge, and once he actually summons it, you actually see a bridge. So what you'll see now is if we tell this guy to move across to the other side here, you'll actually
see him using the
bridge. Using the bridge, and he'll go
great.
up on. When we get this all completely working, what you'll see is a visual representation, like with art, and a collision volume that'll allow projectiles to damage the bridges so they can be blown up.
Wendy's. I love Wendy's. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start over by Aaron, and I'm gonna run, and I'm gonna kind of crash into you. My head is gonna be here, and my body is gonna fly over the top of you this way. On the way past, I'm gonna take my right hand, and I'm gonna go, woo! Your mom's video blog. If we could have like a favorite sayings from the video blog, like, that's my lunch.
It's my lunch.
Party's over. Party's over. Put your pants on. How do you know about the pants dropping?
Everybody knows about the pants.
So I'm just making this shit up. Okay, so we're here with Michael Felice. He's been working pretty intently, or intense. He's been working. It's like I fucking smoked out. He's working on the melee combat system. Take us a little deeper in and explain to us a little bit more of some of the systems that you're working on.
One of the main things that melee combat needs to know in particular is the unit's relationships with other melee combat units. There has to be some kind of system or infrastructure set up to determine all those relationships. So there's different types of attacks, and that was one of the challenges. We have an aggressive move, which is attack anything on the way to moving to a particular location. And then we have command attacks, where it's attack that unit and only that unit. So some of the decision-making process, so turning around and attacking an enemy that's nearby because they're a bigger threat.
So there's a limit on a given unit how many other units can attack it.
Right, and that's just based on the spatial relationship of the units.
So this is good. Thank you very much. And you know what we want to do? We want to go to the mailbag. The first question we have here from a gentleman named Nate Oberst. Hey, I was just wondering what the possibility of being a beta tester is. Kings and Castles is going to have a very comprehensive beta program. That would probably start, by my guess, sometime early to mid next year. This guy's name is Waylon Durfee. Your mom's video blog, always a pleasure, interesting stuff. Are you guys just building the already premeditated idea, or are you still thinking of new ideas and whatnot? Are you letting your blog responses affect how the game gets built, or are we just mere spectators? Believe it or not, they have a profound impact on the way our design evolves. We had an email from someone who said, will you have queens in the game instead of just kings? And I have to admit, that was a great bit of feedback, and so now we have queens. Oh, we've got some spam. Spam from the EcoLead people. How to fix your faucet. Jason Roberts writes a book. Carandro writes something about Mother Nature, writes a book. Jason Roberts writes another book. Here's some thoughts. If you want me to read your questions on Mailbag, keep your questions reasonably short and to the point. It makes it far easier to read them. If I have to read like a 3-page letter, it would use up the entire blog. That's another exciting episode of Mailbag. It was about time that you met the infamous Steve Bauman, the one and the only, who's got the best job ever. Steve, tell us about how awesome your job is, because you get to work at Docs all day long.
Yeah, I'm a typist.
Could you type someone to death?
Possibly through boredom in reading said document that would be the result of typing. So yes, that is entirely possible.
I got this one from Ron Gilbert. Guy's got a duck on his head. The bartender says, "What's that?" And the duck says, "It started as a bump on my ass."
It's my lunch.